The wind screamed through the canyon, carrying the scent of burning wood and gunpowder. Dust spiraled in the air as the outlaw urged his horse down the rocky slope, his eyes locked on the smoke rising ahead. The stagecoach lay splintered at the bottom, its wheels broken, its passengers scattered like fallen dolls. He dismounted in a rush, boots crunching over shattered glass and blood-stained dirt. For a long moment, there was only silence, until he heard it. A baby's cry, thin and desperate, piercing through the wreck. The sound hit him like a bullet. He froze, his breath catching in his throat. Somewhere beneath that wreckage, life still fought to survive. He ran forward, shoving aside a half-burned wheel, peering through the twisted frame. Then he saw her. A woman, young, her face smeared with dirt and blood, her dress torn, lay trapped beneath the broken coach. Her hand moved weakly, clutching a small bundle close to her chest. The baby whimpered, its tiny face barely visible beneath a tattered blanket. The outlaw dropped to his knees beside her, his gloved hands trembling as he brushed debris from her face. "Hey, stay with me, ma'am," he said, voice low but urgent. Her eyes fluttered open, glazed with pain and fear. "Please," she whispered, her voice hoarse and trembling. "Leave me, save my baby, please." Her plea hit deep, echoing through the hollow places in his soul. He saw flashes of another night, years ago, another woman's voice begging the same words as flames consumed his home. He had failed them then. He wouldn't fail this one. Not this time. "I ain't leavin' either of you," he muttered fiercely, already pushing at the wooden beam pinning her leg. It didn't budge. He spat into the dirt and tried again, muscles straining, sweat rolling down his neck. The metal creaked, the whole wreck groaning like it might collapse again, but he kept pushing until it shifted. The woman cried out in pain as the pressure eased. He caught her hand, steadying her. "You hold on, you hear me? Just hold on." Her grip was weak, trembling. She was losing blood fast. He tore off his coat and pressed it against her side to slow the bleeding, his mind racing. "They'll come back," she whispered. "The bandits, they wanted the money." He looked up sharply, scanning the ridge above. "Empty, for now. Let 'em come," he said, voice dark and steady. "They'll find more than they bargained for." He reached for the baby, wrapping the child carefully in his coat and pressing it against his chest. The warmth of that tiny heartbeat sent a strange ache through him. He'd forgotten what innocence sounded like, what it felt like to protect something that had never done wrong. When he turned back to her, her eyes were fixed on him, pleading, searching for hope. You're not like them," she murmured faintly. He swallowed hard, jaw tightening. "Maybe once I was," he said quietly. "But not anymore." He gathered her into his arms, the baby nestled between them, and stood as the first echo of hooves sounded in the distance. His gun hung heavy at his hip. "You're gonna make it," he promised, though the words hurt his throat. "I'll save you both." The night had fallen thick and cold over the desert, stars spread across the sky like shattered glass. The outlaw crouched low behind a ridge, his body aching, his coat torn and sticky with blood. The fire he had managed to start burned weakly, throwing trembling light over the woman and her baby. She lay wrapped in a blanket, her skin pale beneath the glow, her breathing shallow but steady. The baby slept soundly against her chest, the rise and fall of its tiny body the only proof that life still clung to them both. He watched them in silence, a heaviness pressing on his chest that had nothing to do with his wounds. He had carried them from the wreck, mile after mile through dust and thorns, guided only by the stubborn promise in his heart. The wind stirred, bringing with it a sound he had been dreading, the low murmur of men's voices, the jingle of spurs, horses moving slow and cautious. They were coming. The bandits hadn't given up. He reached for his revolver, checked the cylinder. 2 bullets left. 2 chances. He set his jaw, took one last look at the sleeping child, and then at the woman. Her eyes opened, barely. "You have to go," she whispered, her voice cracked and weak. "Take the baby. Don't let them find you." He shook his head, crouching beside her. "Not leaving you here. You both live or none of us do." Tears welled in her eyes. "You'll die for nothing." He almost smiled, though it came out broken. "Lady, I already died once. What's left ain't much to lose." He brushed the hair from her face, the way he used to with his wife before everything burned. Her breath caught, as if she wanted to say something more, but the sound of approaching horses silenced them both. He rose slowly, the gun heavy in his hand, and stepped away from the fire's glow. Shadows shifted along the ridge. Then a voice called out, rough and mocking. "We know you're down there. Hand over the money and maybe we'll let you live." The outlaw crouched behind the rocks, his pulse steady, waiting. When the first rider came into view, he fired, one shot, clean through the man's chest. The horse screamed and bolted. Chaos followed. Bullets tore through the dark, sparks flying off stone. He ducked, rolled, returned fire. Another shot found its mark. One left. A bullet grazed his arm. He grunted, falling to one knee. Dust filled his mouth, his vision blurring. The last bandit charged down the slope, rifle raised. The outlaw waited until he saw the whites of the man's eyes, then pulled the trigger. The bandit dropped. Silence. The outlaw swayed on his feet, breath ragged, blood seeping from his shoulder. He stumbled back to the fire. The woman's eyes were open, glistening in the faint light. "You saved us," she whispered. He knelt beside her, exhaustion and pain dragging him down. "Told you I would," he said softly. He glanced at the baby, still sleeping, untouched by the violence that had nearly claimed them. The dawn was breaking over the horizon now, painting the desert gold. He stood slowly, cradling the child in his arms. "You're safe," he murmured, voice barely above a breath. "Both of you." And with the rising sun warming his face, the outlaw walked into the light, leaving behind the night, the blood, and everything he once was.